I'm ARealHuman and you're invited to my Party in the House on Haunted Hill, a video party featuring the best bone-chilling, skin-crawling haunted houses ever made. It's the bewitching month of October, and what better way to celebrate than by exploring the history of haunted houses in PC games. We'll begin at the dawn of the early 90s and travel down to the end of the decade. The haunted house trope has been a staple of spooky stories throughout countless generations. The gothic, the supernatural, you may be surprised with just how many there actually are. Now, this list is going to be very specific. I'm only going to be talking about games with real haunted houses, you know, the classic image we all have in our heads. So no System Shock, no games set inside a space station for example, or horror games that feature creepy buildings for only a few parts. Haunted houses, skeletons, ghosts, cobwebs and trapdoors, the good stuff. You have your popcorn ready, your Halloween treats? I hope the lights are off and all you can see is the full moon outside your window. My black cat is by my side, so let's start off with the first game. Hugo's House of Horrors is a text-based adventure horror game released on DOS in 1990. And first impressions? It's actually pretty cool. You just listen to that funky Halloween music, although it only lasts for a few seconds. It's not strictly text-based, there's graphics and artwork obviously, and you can control your character with the movement keys. However, you have to type out every other action. It looks good though for the time. There's a full moon out, there's a blue bat flying around, a huge spooky tree looming over the fence. The haunted house itself is great, although it's a bit too thin for my liking. It should have been a mansion. The main character looks a bit weird as well. He decided to dress up in bright pink trousers and a baby blue shirt. That should be your Halloween costume this year. Tell them you're Hugo from Hugo's House of Horrors on DOS. So, what's the story? You are in total control of Hugo's destiny as he searches the haunted house for his sweetheart Penelope. She was last seen going into this house on a babysitting assignment. That's it basically. Your girlfriend has been kidnapped and she's inside the house. Maybe that's her in the window. You may control Hugo's motion with the arrow keys, give him simple commands, good. The door is locked. Can't I just climb through the open window right there? Apparently not. So you pick up the pumpkin, smash it, get the key, walk inside. Is it me or does this house look much bigger on the inside? I like the picture of the bat. The first room you go in just has a wardrobe and a bed. Okay, the only thing to do is open it, right? What is that? Something we need to interact with obviously, but what is it? I can't look at it to find out what it is and I can't do anything with it unless I know its name to type in the box, so it's fucking pointless. And keep in mind, your scene is stretched out to widescreen. Imagine trying to discern what that is in tiny resolution on a dinosaur computer running DOS. Anyway, next room. If you walk through the puke coloured kitchen into the dining room, you see a bunch of monsters having a meal around a table. There's a butler, 2 vampires, the Grim Reaper maybe, I think a werewolf and some zombies. I try to talk to the woman and she just calls me a dweeb. Just like real life. Let's check upstairs in a room you saw the guy in the lab coat walk into. So we walk in and he says, there you are. I've been looking all over the house for you. You're late and we haven't much time. Step into the box and we'll begin the experiment. Okay, I don't know why we're agreeing to this, but let's do it. He then tells Igor, his assistant, to press the blue button and he gets it wrong because he's colourblind.
You must be Igor.
No, it's pronounced Igor.
But they told me it was Igor.
Well, they were wrong then, weren't they?
You idiot, Igor, then wanders off. He looks more like a morbidly obese, bald, naked man cosplaying the Hulk than he does a mad scientist typical hunchback assistant. Anytime you tell him to press a button, he immediately goes and presses a different one and crazy things happen. You spin around, you get holes all across your body. That's kind of disturbing. Imagine how that would look in real life. Body horror. You keep telling him to press buttons until he gets angry and shouts, "You should go while you can!" 2 exclamation marks. He's pissed. Well, fuck this, I'm sick of Hugo's House of Horrors already. I can never get into these text-based games. There's a million different words in the English language and a million more ways you can make sentences. It never fucking picks up on what you're trying to say or do unless you're typing the exact same phrase the developer wanted you to type. These games just never respond to anything. It's infuriating. I'm done. Igor, fuck you. Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. Alone in the Dark is a survival horror game released in 1992 and an absolute pioneer of the genre. I can't give this game enough praise. I mean, just look at the difference. There's only a 2-year time period between this and Hugo's House of Horrors. You play as either Edward Carnby or Emily Hartwood. You've been hired by a mysterious antique dealer to check out a piano in the attic of this old creepy house, and it just looks amazing. Once you're inside, you uncover a H.P. Lovecraft inspired plot to resurrect the physical form of a deranged cultist.
I spend all my days plunged in dusty books. The servants are convinced I am mad. At night, I awaken them with my screams. Ironic! The cave my father sought for so many years is here, beneath the house!
I have need of a living body to regenerate myself. The Heartwoods managed to escape from me, but you who are reading these words, you will yield to my embrace.
I've actually made a whole video on this game, so that's why I'm just going to summarise it. There's a good range of weapons, interesting puzzles, and a generally creepy but fun atmosphere. The only downside is the combat. It sucks. It's terrible, in fact. I won't sugarcoat it. It was the first 3D survival horror game ever made, and you have to take that into account. However, you should play it. Exploring the house and uncovering the mystery is exhilarating. Even now it can be scary and unnerving if you're playing alone. I won't be talking about secrets in this video, but there are many, and they're all pretty good, I hear. Anyway, Alone in the Dark, the grandfather of the haunted house video games. Alright, next game.
That sure was some nightmare. It even left me with a monster headache.
Darkseid is a psychological horror point-and-click adventure game released in 1992. What makes this game so special is its artwork by H.R. Giger of Alien fame. In fact, it's the only video game he's ever personally given his art to, so of course it just looks astounding. The game follows Mike Dawson, a writer who's recently moved into a creepy old mansion. He begins having nightmares about a machine shooting an alien embryo into his brain, and then having severe headaches in real life. As the story unfolds, you find out that there's a parallel universe called the Dark World, accessible by walking through the mirror in your living room. Inside is a disturbing, grotesque alien world filled with ancients who seek to bring about the end of human life on Earth. Most of the people you meet in the kindly town around your home are mirrored in the Dark World, and honestly, the whole idea is just terrifying. Darkseid probably has the most disturbing story that will appear on this list. The game is sinister and unnerving. Just take a listen to the music.
An unnatural glow emanates from the chamber. Strange machines provide energy, nourishing the creatures cocooned in their sacks.
Again, another summary because I've already done a video on this game, but you must think it's amazing, right? If you haven't already heard of it, then it will likely appear now as the best horror game ever made. Well, there are problems. First and foremost, the gameplay is horrendous. It's a point and click game which is fine in the beginning, but it just fucks it up. There's a time mechanic that is never made obvious, where certain events trigger at a specific time within the game, and if you don't know this, then you can get locked 20% in or 30% of the way in without being able to continue. And you'll never know. There won't be a game over screen or any contextual clue to tell you that you failed a time sensitive mission. You'll just wander around, unaware of how to proceed or what's happening. And there's insane leaps of logic. Darkseid expects you to do things which are 100% necessary for progressing through the story, but it will never tell you or even hint at it, and if you don't do everything perfectly, you'll get locked out again without ever knowing why you can't progress. Here's a short segment from my full video on it, you'll see what I mean. Before we leave the library, there's something else we need to get. Do you see it? Well, we need a bobby pin that's laying on the ground. Do you see it yet? No? It's this tiny black speck laying on the ground. Who the fuck would ever see that? This isn't optional. You need this to complete the game, and nobody tells you that you need to get it either. It's insane! This kind of thing is so prevalent in old point and click games, and it just ruins the entire thing. Imagine getting HR Geiger to do the work on your game. Imagine the developer spending hundreds of hours working on it. Then imagine the player never being able to see all that work because they didn't notice a tiny fucking speck on the ground. What a joke. Who came up with this? So yeah, it looks amazing. It has artwork by one of the absolute best and most influential horror designers ever made, and the story is bone chilling, but I can't recommend you play it because the gameplay is shit. You will have to consult a guide to beat Darkseid and follow it to the letter, so what's the point? It's such a shame. It had so much potential, but next game. The Legacy Realm of Terra is an adventure role-playing game released in 1992. The intro is really good and puts you in that spooky mood. A car rolls up in the rain on a dark mansion overlooking a stormy sea. There's lightning, a lizard, why isn't it a spider, and gargoyles on the menu screen. You have the option of creating a character, and when you do, newspapers containing the backstory fly at the screen. It's a good way to do it. Apparently the town has been cursed by tragedy, the Winthrop House heir has been located, indicating that the previous owner is dead, and aliens ate my dog. The next screen allows us to choose our character with a predetermined backstory. Again, it's pretty innovative for the time. They all have a different relation to the Winthrops. This guy is related by marriage and he is planning a Mondo party. This girl wants to turn it into a luxury hotel and conference centre. And Lucy is a tennis and volleyball player at the University of California, Los Angeles. Mrs. Weston described her good fortune as, "Wow, totally rad, like a whole mansion all to myself. It's so cool, almost tubular." Oh my god, we're definitely playing as her. Did Americans ever really say tubular unironically? I always thought that was a joke. There's a really detailed stat screen you can redesign to your own preference. I had never played this game before now, so I was shocked to see this. It has so much detail. Already you can see the developers poured a lot of love into it. There's strength, knowledge, dexterity, etc. The game appears to have more depth than Ultima Underworld, which it seems to model. You even get spells. Anyway, let's begin. So yeah, it looks like Ultima Underworld. In fact, it's basically a dungeon crawler. Again, I was really surprised. I would never think to put the haunted house trope together with a dungeon crawler, but it makes perfect sense. On the floor in front of us is a note. I, Marcus Roberts, writes this in the event of my untimely death, to serve as a warning and aid to any unfortunate who follows me into this house of evil. Oh boy. Apparently the previous owners were basket cases, and every 50 years strange lights are reported in the skies over the house, along with disappearances in the nearby town. This guy has gone in to investigate, and there's a Cthulhu-esque entity trying to break into the mortal realm. It's a bit like Alone in the Dark. I love all this kind of stuff, so it's a good start. But wait, why did this guy leave this note on a single scrap of paper right at the floor of the entrance? In fact, these notes are everywhere, and they're all on the floor. There's a table right there. Did this guy run around writing in a notebook, chucking pieces of paper on the floor for us to find? I know it's a small point, but it's pretty funny. It seems like the laziest way ever to introduce the audiobook cliche. I guess it wasn't a cliche when this game came out. Good thing all these zombies didn't step on them or we'd be fucked. What does that say? So you walk around with the arrow keys, punch by pressing hit near an enemy, keeping watching your stamina. I think the combat's better than Ultima Underworld as well. At one point you find a gun just laying on the floor, and unlike Ultima Underworld, it's 1,000 times easier to actually hit enemies standing right in front of you. Like the gun isn't really aimed, you just have to shoot facing in the right direction. I prefer that. The house itself is one of the more scary in this list surprisingly. It's still unnerving playing this game. There are huge weird framed paintings. When you encounter a lot of enemies your sanity can drop, causing your character to scream in terror. Periodically the lights will go out and there'll be a loud sound to startle you. It's cool to see that kind of interactivity. It keeps you on your toes. The music is pretty poor though, there isn't really any. At least it isn't unsettling in any way. Thank God as well, the game keeps track of where you've been in a really useful minimap, and I dare say the minimap is better than Ultima Underworld and System Shock's because it's larger and easier to discern with its simple colours. You can easily see where the doors are too. I can't get over how good this game seems to be and how little I've heard of it. So I run around the house for a long time exploring the first floor, finding more notes littered across the ground. Trapped, there is no escape from the house. Worse still, I have unleashed hordes of zombies from the mausoleum to the east. God, nice one arsehole. I probably shouldn't waste my bullets on them, but I'm tired of the slow punching game. The AI gets a little confused sometimes too. It's cool that you can hold two different weapons in both hands, or one weapon and a flashlight for example. Oh, what's this, the mausoleum? Fuck, this is creepy. What killed me? Oh well, good game by the looks of it. I'll have to do a full video on it at some point. Alright, next game. The Seventh Guest is an interactive movie puzzle game released in 1993. It has a huge amount of live action video clips and it really stands out, even today, as a fun and unique video game. In the opening prologue we're introduced to the story. A drifter named Henry Stout violently kills a woman and steals her purse. He begins having eerie visions of toys and a desire to craft them. Soon he becomes a successful toy maker, and every kid in town wants one of his famous toys. He uses his fortune to build a strange, creepy mansion at the edge of town, and then disappears. You begin the game without any memory of the events that led you there, within the now deserted mansion. 6 people have come before you, and appear as ghostly apparitions throughout the house. Stout invited them here to solve his puzzles, and the winner would win his heart's desire, anything he could wish for. You are the Seventh Guest. It's a spooky, cheesy and fun intro that works wonders. It's a little long but it gets you in the mood. The actors are so much fun, it's like watching a play or a theatre performance that you get to interact with.
My dear Mr. Dutton, welcome to my house. The arrangement is simple. You are to spend the night as my guest, and in exchange, I will give you your heart's most secret desire.
And just look at that haunted house, it's absolutely wonderful. The only issue is how slowly you move around, but what can you do? The first puzzle gets you straight into the spirit of the game. You have to remove this cape without leaving a piece on its own, and you have to take out 1 part icing, 2 parts skulls and 2 tombstones at a time. I love this. This woman is seducing the old guy away from his wife to try and beat the puzzles together.
Edward, we could help each other out. I could help you, and you could help me. Come and talk in my bedroom upstairs, where it's nice and private.
This game is so much fun. So we finish some more puzzles, let's look upstairs. Oh my god! There's a lot of fun stuff like that in the game. Wow, that's actually a little scary. And now it isn't. Let's try the lover's room.
Skipping 3s and skipping 5s. Perhaps that's how one derives the answer to this wordy tale.
Skipping 3s and skipping 5s. I managed to solve this puzzle, but I don't know how. I still don't get it really. I just went around spelling out words. Anyway. The difficulty of the puzzles ramps up immeasurably after this. Too much so in my opinion. Now I know different people find different puzzles difficult, but this is insane. I was stuck on this one chess puzzle for ages and I couldn't manage to do it. This is in the first 20 minutes of the game. Why does every puzzle game from the 90s have chess puzzles? This is the second one in the game too. Look at this, right? It looks simple. You just have to move all the chess pieces to the opposite end of the board, but of course they only move in their set pattern. But honestly, it's so much harder than it looks. In fact, you have to make 40 moves in a specific pattern. When you Google 7th Guest, walkthrough is the second result, microscope puzzle the 4th, and this puzzle is the 5th. Immediately. I don't even want to try the microscope puzzle now. I continue down to the next puzzle and I'm equally as annoyed. You have to spell out a sentence with these cans. Looks easy enough, right? Well, you may get tripped up by the fact there are no vowels. That confused me at first too. But everyone will work that out eventually, right? But what is the sentence? Well, I just couldn't get it. I got the first 3 words, but the full sentence is shy, gypsy, slyly, spryly, tryst by my crypt. What the fuck is tryst? Tryst? Are you joking me? The 1300s? I started out on such high hopes. I mean, this is a good game. So good in fact that it got a modern re-release by Night Dive Studios, and even as a Kickstarter for a board game. The fans obviously love this game and I can see why. As for the haunted house list, this is the top echelon, absolutely great. The puzzles are just fucking difficult. Okay, so now we're in a labyrinth of sorts underneath the house. The game has taken a turn from the cheesy. It's pretty creepy down here. You can't see anything. You click around trying not to run into a dead end, and the music is sinister.
Feeling lonely.
And that's terrifying. But he says it every time you run into a dead end, so it gets annoying quickly. Well, this can't be too bad, right? A little annoyance and I'll be out of here in a second.
Feeling lonely. Feeling low. Feeling lonely.
Fuck! I've been in here for like 50 minutes. Fuck! Oh, thank God the skeleton is pointing somewhere. It's the first landmark I've seen the entire time I've been down here. What? It's another fucking dead end. Is there a switch, a button? Was he pointing down here just as a fucking joke? Fuck! Phantasmagoria is a point-and-click adventure game released in 1995. It features live-action footage and actors just like The Seventh Guest, but it better resembles Darkseid or Harvester. It's noted for its graphic gore and violent content. Exciting. And to tell you the truth, I don't really know much about the story, so let's jump in and find out. Alright, so there's a guy setting up a camera on a cliff. He takes some pictures of nearby houses. I have no idea. Why is the video so small? Is it for ants? Every previous game on this list with live action footage has had larger resolution, so I don't know what the problem is here. Jump scare.
Adrian. God. What's the matter, sweetheart? Oh.
You can tell this is the 90s. Look at how long that guy's hair is. Which one is the woman again? Now it's turned into a low quality porno. No wait, I was just joking. Right, let's take that off the screen quickly. What a strange intro. I learned almost nothing from that. Anyway, let's begin. Chapter 1? Maybe now we'll actually learn something.
Somebody kept me up last night.
Well, I'm sorry. I had a nightmare. You didn't seem to mind so much last night.
Oh, no.
I have to admit, this place is kind of strange.
Yeah, it's different. You know, I bet the guy that built this place must have been really bizarre.
Well, hi, Spaz. How you doing, huh?
Fucking hell. Now we're just watching a reality TV show, Keeping Up with the Addams Family. Basically, this couple has just moved into a new house and it's creepy.
You remember this?
Yeah, I gave you this for Halloween.
You rat?
That wasn't an offensive joke. Why such a strong reaction? Let's begin already. Okay, so you play as the woman in the cutscene. There's nothing telling you what you're supposed to do, so let's just go for a wander around the house. The kitchen is pretty gothic actually. What's with that cooking area? Okay, take a drink, look for some snacks. Holy fucking shit, what kind of house is this? This is Dracula's. Holy fuck, where the hell did we move into? Look at the trees. Oh my god, is that a drawbridge? Have you stepped into horror cartoon world? There's a huge spooky crypt and a giant evil head on the side of our house. It's pretty hilarious just how obviously evil and sinister this house is, yet neither the main character or anyone else seems to be able to pick up on it. This is like the bloody Addams Family house. Let's go back inside and try to find out what to do. A nice big menacing mirror here. Oh wow, look. The portrait above the fireplace is wearing a different dress in the reflection. Nothing hints towards that, I just noticed it while re-watching the footage. That's generally unsettling. What's this in the larder? It's locked. That's a bit disturbing too. It's completely silent while the animation plays, which somehow makes it worse. Oh my god. So what kind of house is this? It looks more like a satanic church. How are there only 2 people living here? And it's the fortune telling machine in the main hallway there for any other reason than just to be creepy. Alright, I've seen enough. Leave, get out. I've never seen a bigger warning sign that you should just leave this obviously satanic house than that. Oh, never mind, there's a cute little cat, let's stay. Although I don't think this actress knows how to pet a cat. Why is she getting it in a headlock? Hey guys, maybe we should take down the portraits of these absolute random creepers that seem to be littered about our house? And why the fuck is every door locked in our house? You know what, I think we need a nap after all of that. Let's just go to bed and pretend we're not in Cruella de Vil's hell mansion. No, it's Freddy Krueger!
The bed grabbed you?
Yes.
Oh, here, calm down, calm down. It's okay, look, see? Nothing wrong.
And there's another creeper. Jokes aside, this game seems really intense. I'm in love with it already. I'll have to make a full video on this too. The haunted house is absolutely terrifying. I keep imagining the portraits are moving as I walk around the house, and I generally don't know if they are or if it's just in my mind. This game already has me. I highly recommend you play this one. Alright, next game. The House of the Dead is a first-person rail shooter arcade game released in Japan in 1996, but ported to home PC in 1998. I'm playing a little bit fast and loose with this one. Obviously most people remember it as an arcade shooter, but it's nostalgic and a ton of fun. Plus it has a PC mode, so what else do you need? Let's try arcade mode. The intro loading screens look like they were done in MS Paint. Also the voice acting sucks.
Oh no! Oh!
But hey, we play as this baby-faced badass. Obviously, since it's a rail shooter, this game isn't very heavy on story. Basically, this detective/agent called Thomas Rogan receives a phone call from his fiancée inside the mansion. It's the home and laboratory of a biochemist and geneticist who unleashes a horde of zombies and fucked up creatures. Blah blah blah, standard plot really. You run around all game trying to save your girlfriend and stop the big bad evil. Now it might surprise you that the arcade version actually looks 1,000 times better, and the terrible voice acting is hidden behind the background music to a certain degree. On the PC version the texture is popping in all the time and the draw distance is horrendous. Combined with how fast all the mini cutscene sequences happen, the game has a pretty comical look. Even the sound effects are fucked up. What? I've definitely heard that before. I knew it! And oh god, listen to this.
No! Oh no!
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. So yeah, you have to save the scientists you find scattered around. If you do, you can unlock different paths to go down. They might give you extra ammo or restore your health. But why are we saving them? Surely they were helping the mad scientist with his zombie plague. Isn't it like storming Hitler's bunker and saving Nazis along the way? Alright, maybe they didn't know what they were doing, but fucking hell, that's one hell of a mistake to make. But anyway, these guys come at you fast. Gotta steal as many of those pound coins from the kids in the arcade as you can. Remember that frustration when you ran out? That's a really threatening voice. Sounds like the kid at a birthday party who messes around with the helium balloons. At the end of the stage, or when you die, you get to see the path you took throughout the house. Alright, they 100% no joke did this in MS Paint. The house itself is really cool though, and even with all the texture popping and draw distance issues, you start out in the courtyard and make your way inside. You get to wander outside the house on little pathways, go past balconies and go inside little rooms. There's an underground laboratory and, like you saw earlier, a big full moon in the sky. You really get a good sense of the enormity of the house. It's fun to be taken around on a rail shooter. It makes you feel like you're sitting in a little spooky car on a haunted house ride. Anyway, that's it. The House of the Dead. The PC port isn't so amazing, but it's still a ton of fun. Good old cheesy rail shooting zombie action. Anchorhead is an interactive horror fiction game released in 1998 for the Z Machine. or the Z machine for my American watchers. I've never heard of this before. I think, emphasis on think, that it was a program which would run on Macintosh, Linux, DOS, Windows, etc. and simply run these specific text-based game formats. I think. Either way, it was on PC. In fact, it was highly acclaimed as one of the best interactive fiction games out there, and it won some awards I've never heard of from a company I've never heard of. Gotta be good. Okay, so what is this? Oh, a H.P. Lovecraft quote. It's amazing how much influence H.P. Lovecraft had on horror video games. You take a deep breath of salty air as the first raindrops begin to spatter the pavement, and the swollen slate-covered clouds that blanket the sky mutter ominous portents amongst themselves over the little coastal town of Anchorhead. Alright, this game already has better writing than, honest to God, 99% of video games ever made. Okay, the first day. A grim little cul-de-sac tucked away in a corner of the narrow twisting avenues. The lane ends here at the real estate agent's office. Okay, let's go there. Go to the real estate agent's office. Okay, never mind. Go to the town centre. Okay, never mind. Go to the alley. Okay, cool. I wonder if we'll see Hugo here. This narrow aperture between two buildings is nearly blocked with piles of rotten cardboard boxes, ugly crumbling walls to either side. The alley ends here at a tall fence. Climb the fence. The fence is too high to climb. In the distance you hear a train. That's pretty cool and quite responsive. So far it seems like the best text-based game I've ever played. I'm interested to really get into this. Obviously I won't show you the entire thing, how can I, it's practically a book, but I recommend trying out Anchorhead yourself if you're into H.P. Lovecraft. You can play it in your browser. Alright, that's it. Phew, you made it to the end. I hope you enjoyed this little retrospective look back at haunted houses and PC games from the beginning of the 90s to the end of the decade. This was one tough video to make, so thank you for sticking to the end again. The only reward I really get from making these is reading all the comments, so if you enjoyed it, please consider making a comment or sharing it around. Honestly, I read every single one. Again, thank you so much. Check out some of my other videos if you like weird, strange PC games, and have an absolutely bone-chilling Halloween. See ya.
With this little cobweb potion, you'll fall into dark devotion. If you ever lose affection, I can change your whole direction. I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you. I'm gonna put a spell on you. I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you. We're gonna put a spell on all of you.
It's okay. Look, see? Nothing wrong.